Welcome back to a little update video. As always, I'm using the Fractal method, explanation videos, rules, tutorial, and so on and so on. I will link at the end of the video. Good, well, then jump into AMC. And as always, if you want to know the full Fractal, if you want to know one part squeeze, super squeeze, my price targets, and why, just the whole thing, I will link again the big update video at the end. Today, we only look what we have done today. So let's zoom in. And before we start, one little clarification. I already posted it in a YouTube post. I kinda really have to say sorry, because this dilution news, the filing, I only read the headline, my mistake, because if I would have read the whole thing, in the middle was standing, it was only for 24 and 25. So yeah, today the 95 million were already finished in the morning, which makes, again, no sense that we dropped 10 to 15% after that. Yeah, so much for supply and demand market. But of course, because they already finished this dilution, they can't sell into the run. Yeah, doesn't change the tracking first, isn't really changing the dilution chart, except that they already finished now. Yeah, but it was always just a story behind it. But still, that's the reason why you shouldn't only read headlines. Okay, so for the tracking today, yeah, a lot of panic. Yeah, I got a lot of questions. Is it now over? Is it still okay? Oh my God, we are dying. My question is just why? Or was the last video too bad? Was it not good enough explained? Really, I want to know if I wasn't clear enough, if my English was too bad. Yeah, because in my opinion, I said it absolutely clear. Again, the very real first reason why I even started this channel is because I always see only two kinds of channels. The first, it's always next week, or it's always next month, and there is no alternative, no landmarks left, 100% confidence. Or it's over, we're dying, Adam Aaron kills the squeeze, you will never come up over $3, it's over. Maybe it's just the algo, yeah, from YouTube, but I only see these two kinds of YouTubes. And that's why I thought to myself, okay, I want to make it different. I try to show on any ticker I show, for any tracking I am showing, bullish, bearish version. And for both, we have fixed levels. As long as we're not breaking or touching these levels, nothing is changing. And as long as we don't do that, there has to be no emotional fear. Yeah? For AMC, yeah, let's start with the main tracking, which is still the main tracking. Yeah, let's start with this. Just for explanation again for new people, both sides, of course, AMC, both 1 hour, both on after hours plus normal market hours. So you see everything. Yeah. Left side from March 2026 till today. Right side, January 5th, 2021 till January 22nd, 2021. And the tracking is all-time low, all-time low. Up to A, up to A. 0.5 pullback here, 0.618. Was it 1.618? Yeah, 0.68 pullback. Up to B, up to B. So in 2021, from our A bottom to our B peak, we fell down to a 0.5 pullback and bounced. Yesterday, or was it yesterday or the day before, we fell to the 0.5, bounced, but today we fell down again. I already said in the last video, I said it would be perfect if this was here our bottom and we just bounce. But I also said there was a possibility we can drop more. I wouldn't like it, which I don't do, but B is allowed to go to the 618 fib. and see where we bounce today at the 618. And you could even say this is a nice V, nice bounce. So for this version, nothing changed yet. Yeah, still absolutely okay. So for this version, what would comes next? Well, next we do this. And that is our little higher low, and then we go up again. For the next question, means there's still a chance for next week. Not for this version, no, because this took 2 days. We are way slower right now, and this is not something where you just have to break levels. This most likely will take 1 or 2 weeks. This is not a small landmark. Yeah? So for this version, I see no chance for next week. No chance. For levels not to break. For every bullish version I have, for everyone, every single one, yeah, you are not allowed to break the 786. That means if you go down to 150, it's over for at least 2026. Yeah. Even I would say, because B isn't going that low, I would even say 164 already gets critical. Yeah. That, but for 100% certainty, 150 is too low. I don't think that. Yeah. But 150, and I have to close, no financial advice, my positions. Yeah. So absolutely important is this. Yeah. And even if you don't believe me, yeah, if you're not following my tracking, you can just say, okay, if we do that, my tracking is wrong, at least. Yeah. If you're not using my tracking, just look at this. Yeah. That would mean that this drop would have brought us down here, even without my fractal version. That's fucking bearish. Yeah. But one thing to say to this, even for the bearish version, I don't see us doing that. Yeah. Because for the bearish version, you would still bounce somewhere here. Go up, lower high, midpoint, T, 50 to 10 cents. But till end of the year, I don't see, even for the bearish version, a knife down here. Yeah. But again, if we do something similar to today, if we drop another 15% tomorrow, that is killing AMC. Don't believe that, but that is killing AMC. At least my bullish tracking for AMC. Good. That would be this version. The next version, the next bullish version from last time, was this here. That means that this peak here was January 25th. This here. Yeah. And this low yesterday, or yesterday, would have been this. And for this, I really have to say that this version died today. I see no chance that we are here. No chance. Yeah. Not just because of fibs. Yeah. Because this to here is not even a 0.5. This to here is nothing. And this candle today killed this version. Because if you would compare this, even if you would say it doesn't have to be 1-to-1, but this candle here would have to go down here. Yeah, because look, we went under the B low, or if whatever low you call this, yeah, it went under this low. No way. You can call this volatility or whatever. You are not in January 25th, or at least I say it. We are not in January 5th. Yeah. It's also the reason I see no chance for next week. Yeah, because yesterday, or in the last video, we had still a chance. We are really here. We would do this week and go next year, next year, and go next week. No, in my opinion, no chance. I would love to be wrong, really, I do. But with this candle today, no chance we're in January 25th. No chance for me. Yeah, and I mean, even you should see that this is too low. It just is. Okay, and as third version, because someone of you from the English community, not from the German community, asked me about the third version. I was already working weeks, months ago on that. Yeah, I showed that I think in 1 or 2 videos. And with that drop today, could make sense. The only thing before I'm showing it was that I was working on that again, and then suddenly I saw that a special person on X posted this, quite similar to mine. And the thing is, I don't name him, yeah, because it would be really unfair, yeah. But this guy is 100% wrong, and that's why I don't like it. Because he really is 100% wrong. But okay, so let's go to this version. And it's pretty easy to explain. This Monday was A. What do I mean with that? This Monday was January 12th. And what we did today was January 13th. Yeah, that's the whole theory. Why? Just because back then this pullback was a 0.5 pullback. And from our all-time low to this, we bounced at a 0.5. And not even that. If you look at here, it was a straight line down. I mean, okay, this was just 1 hour because the fractal was quicker and smaller back then. We're getting bigger and slower. Yeah. So this was pretty volatile. Yeah. It was 2 days or 3 days. So it would work. Another point for my long watchers. Yeah. Maybe you remember where I was so fucking stubborn that I want my higher low. Yeah. This higher low back then, it was in May, that I really wanted this higher low, and I was really angry that I didn't get it. Back then I said maybe this was the first sign for the bearish version. Maybe I was wrong 2 times. First, that I expected the higher low here. Second, that it would be a sign of the bearish tracking. Maybe I was just too early. Because, I mean, okay, it looks perfect for upside, for that we are already here, yeah. But what if we really just only did A, and now comes the higher low? I was so stubborn on it, and then we continue, yeah. The problem here is, in my opinion, there is no way to be sure or if we are in A or in B, because in both landmarks we're doing a higher low. That's the stupid part. This version has one negative point, one extremely bullish point. The negative point about this version, I think, is absolutely clear. From in 2021 to this point, from all-time low to this point, it took us 8 days. Now, it took us 90 days. Yeah, or 80 days, whatever you see it. Yeah. So we are kind of 10 times slower. Yeah. That would mean also for this version, no chance for next week. I would even say that this higher low could take us 2 weeks. This would come after that. Another 2 weeks, maybe. Something like this. Let's zoom out a little bit. Yeah, something like this. Maybe another 2 weeks. Yeah. And then is the question, do we have to repeat this too? What I mean with that is that with this version, in my opinion, the earliest way to get this, the first part of the squeeze, would be mid-end July. Because we are slower. Yeah. And if we don't get a lot of volume, because volume is always speeding up or slowing down the fractal, maybe even August, September. And before we go into the positive part, what if you're watching me longer, you know, I hate to be in June. I hate to be in July. Why? Because AMC is always squeezing January, May. In the last 5-6 years, always January, May. What if we are getting so fucking slow that we're doing this the rest of the year, and this break is January 2027? That would be an asshole move. Impossible? No. Yeah. But for this, we have to wait for price action. Now to the bullish version. Not the bullish version, but because this is bullish, we would, the rest of the year, we would go up. Yeah. But next thing, the really positive point about this version is, and I'm looking at, and I'm showing this on purpose. What the fuck? 1 second. I'm showing that on purpose so zoomed out, because I always got the question, how should that be possible? Yeah, that AMC is going that high. How? Yeah, I mean, my only answer is, first, we did it already in 2021. Then just look at other stocks. There are stocks which are doing way more craziest things. What if the easiest answer would be this version? Because look at this little shit here. This tiny shit. Yeah. And to make that clear, this point here, May, what is for me the comparison to December 2020? But we are already nearly up here. Yeah. That's why I'm not making this as my main tracking yet, and still have the first version I showed as main tracking, because I mean, okay, you shouldn't track with levels, so everything has to be the same level, but this is a pretty deep difference. Yeah, so maybe this here is just what it is, an alternative. Yeah, but otherwise, this shitty thing is this shitty thing. But we are already so high up. So what is this then? If this little thing is already this, what the fuck is this? And then it makes so much more sense that we're really doing something like this for a B, and then we go up to our C. Then this 160 to 180, if my two-part squeeze version is true, makes sense suddenly. Because, yeah, the fractal is getting slower and bigger. Only question is, how slow? That's, yeah. And to make that clear, I'm in this play with you all. I am half stock. I am half options. Of course, I don't like this version. Yeah, my main holdings are now August's. With this version, this could be too short. Yeah, I would hate that too. Yeah, so I feel you if you're now getting no. Let's see. Yeah, only price action retail. Yeah, but to come to the conclusion. Yeah, so conclusion. This here is still my main tracking. Yeah, for now. Yeah, the quicker version. Yeah, I still. It doesn't matter which one. I sadly have to say I don't see a chance for next week. Just don't see it. I like to be wrong. Still bullish. And for all versions, doesn't matter if 1, 2, 3, bullish or bearish, 150 and my tracking is wrong. And for me personally, it's over. Yeah, just say. Okay. One thing, because I got the question with Microsoft marketing. Yeah, so we just look 1 minute on Microsoft. So one thing first, I didn't look if Microsoft is really synced with AMC. I hope not. We will come to that in a second. And second, it's an old company, 1987. Yeah, AMC is there since 2014 or something like that. Yeah, and I hate tickers like this because it's just up. Yeah, you don't have real pullbacks, no real fibs. So you can track it with small micro tracking, but then you get crazy. Just to say this. Okay, but for the big overview, I would say that 2000 was our A, and right now we are in macro B. And here's the thing. I think we got the top of macro B. So I hope if there is sync, I'm wrong. Or I hope if I'm right, there's no sync. Because if we're doing a normal B pullback, we will do something. No, sorry. We will do something like this. Yeah. B pullback is pulling back to the 0.5. That's $75. I mean, now, okay, this wasn't a 618 pullback. Okay. Before we go into micro tracking, you only have to look at this. From the A top to the bottom, 67%. From this top to this bottom, 60%. And right now, we are sitting at 35%. And this trend line here is 62%. That's pretty accurate, I would say. What trend line I would say I'm talking about? It's the trend line from 2009. A lot of touch points. And this would be the bullish version I would have. What I mean with that. If we micro track this, we had our top in July 2025. Our lower high was October 2025. And this up and down here, this June 2026, 1st June of 2026, was just the midpoint. That means, in my opinion, we will break the low from April 2025. We maybe come up again. Won't break this trend. 400-ish. This will be our T. And then we will come to this trend line I showed before. 245. So and this will take some time. Just to say that, yeah, normally, yeah, because we see that here, normally Microsoft is not knifing so fast, but yeah. And one thing, even without my theory, yeah, do you want to tell me that this is bullish? You know, on Monday, I would say, okay, was fine, high or low, yeah. So could have been just bounce here and we go. We broke this. This is not bullish anymore. And one last thing, this was all-time high. You want to sell me this as a high or low? After this? Really? In my opinion, and I could be wrong, but this high or low died here. And you know me, I'm not talking about names or whatever, but I said that in many videos. I have no respect for people who are showing their tracking and calling this shit a high or low. No respect. Because there's only one reason to show this as a high or low. Because if these people are not saying that this is a high or low, it would kill their tracking. That's the only reason. The only reason to say, yeah, okay, it went lower, but for me, it's a high or low. No, this is not a high or low. Okay, maybe in a different universe or whatever, high or low. Okay, fine. My opinion is we will break this pretty fast. Yeah. So if we do that, I could swear. I think, or is it swear? I would swear these people will say, no, that's still a higher low. It's just volatility. It's not one-to-one. And then this here was then also just volatility. It doesn't matter. Yeah, for Microsoft, I'm bearish. I'm really bearish. Yeah, so I hope no synchronization. The same thing. I'm really sorry, but this is also for AMC because some people are tracking Bitcoin sync with AMC. I think you already know my Bitcoin tracking. Yeah, I think if it's the most common version right now. Yeah, I think you will knife here. Your first bounce point will be 44K. You will come up again. You won't break 60. And then you will knife to 34. That's my tracking. And then you can track for upside again. Yeah. And I think it would be the same spot like June 2022. Yeah, this one. This knife. You come down, you bounce, and then you find your real bottom. Yeah. But also for Bitcoin, I'm sorry. Yeah. But this is not a higher low. Yeah. This is not a higher low. This is not a higher low. And this is also not a higher low. What you are doing here, yeah, since October is high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. Lower low, lower low, lower low, lower low, lower low. Nothing is bullish on this shit right now. So I really hope that AMC is not sync with Bitcoin, because if Bitcoin is doing a 40% drop, AMC goes bankrupt. So I really hope we are not. Yeah, or I'm wrong on tracking. To say that I have no position in Bitcoin, I don't care. Yeah, I'm just doing Bitcoin tracking for fun. Yeah. Can we bounce here? Yeah. I mean, technically, we finished everything. Yeah. See, lower high, midpoint T, lower low. Okay. Yeah. But it's not a higher low. Okay. Little update on FFAI. So also today, just little update. Yeah. If you're interested in the full thing, I will also post the roadmap video at the end. And also something. I mean, that was only FFAI, and I understand it, yeah, because I hate FFAI. It's a shit penny stock, okay? But also, I hate hopium screams, if you call that in English. So when everyone, no, everything is fine, doesn't matter what's happening next week. I hate these things. The same like I hate fear mongering. It's over. It looks shit. Never, ever, ever. I hate this. Yeah. And again, I made this channel with clear levers. What did I say last video? Yeah? I said, this is macro higher low. I said, I mean, I'm saying this since May, I think, we still need our BYND. Yeah. Finally, this Tuesday, we got it. So technically everything is finished. I also said we can bounce somewhere in here. Everything is fine. I also said FFAI went in January 2021 with AMC and GME. If AMC is now not going next week or the next 2-3 weeks, maybe FFAI has to do this higher low. Yeah, or it just says, fuck AMC, fuck GME, I do it on my own and just go also. Yeah. Or it's doing its own thing, it's doing a higher low, doing AMC and GME squeezing and goes after that. Yeah. But two things. First of all, is that here looking like a V? Good. We could also go still lower, but looks like a V. And also I said, as long as we're not touching or breaking 20 cents, it's okay. Also I said, really, I'm saying that now, the T and the M, especially the endings, are the most volatile in the whole fractal. Yeah? You see that here, you see that here, here, here. Yeah, the ending is always the most volatile. Yeah, and sometimes I see people, oh, this is not a big drop. That's okay. Why are you thinking we're going V under A? This was only a 33% drop. Really. And then from the same people today, 50%, the world is going under. Why? 13% is nothing for FFAI. Yeah. And one last thing to this. It's the same for AMC. Yeah. The 5-10% today. Yeah. If you go crazy, and that's not a financial advice, and I also say no names. If you're not able to not going crazy with a 10, 15% drop or up on a day, what are you doing in the squeeze? When you maybe most likely see 25, 30, 50% in minutes, up and down, up and down. I think you won't survive squeeze system. Just say, yeah, this is nothing. But to make that clear, 4 levels, 20 cents, and it's over. Then you can fearmonger. Yeah, the same like GNS and FLNR. Yeah, 20 cents, and this thing is done. Yeah, reverse split, OTC, bankruptcy, whatever. For levels to the upside, still also the same. We have to go over 45. Yeah. Okay. Good. Next one, BYND. Also just a tiny update because there was not really something to update today. Just one news. If you are interested in the whole thing, watch the big roadmap video. Okay. And for BYND, I mean, in the morning, it looked nice. On the afternoon, it not looked anything. Yeah, it wasn't bearish or bullish. Yeah, this was a nice breakout candle. Would have been nice if we would have stayed up here. Yeah, we didn't. Yeah. Also, that's a kind of BYND thing. Yeah, we went over T. We made a beautiful breakout retest. Normally, that's fucking great. But we break under the 786. So this can't be A. So this is again a stupid little macro higher low. But at least it's a breakout retest. Yeah. Yeah. This today was just nothing. But it was also Thursday. Yeah. BYND is moving big Friday, Monday. So maybe we get something big tomorrow. Yeah. Let's see. But yeah. Up or down. Down would be bad. Yeah. I would even say if we go down from here, I don't like to break 66. Yeah, because then this higher low is dead again. And then we most likely go to down here. And as I said, everything under 57 cents is the same level like 20 cents on GNS, 150 cents on AMC, 20 cents on FLNA. 57 cents is dead, in my opinion. No financial advice. For bullish tracking, 84 to kill the bearish version. Now, one thing to the news, because there was one. Yeah. And most of the people maybe misunderstood this. Yeah. BYND is selling warrants, so kind of shares and options, to one guy. This guy is called Big Gazer. Yeah. And if you Google it, he has a lot of business and little shops in New York for non-alcoholic drinks and food. So this guy is buying into BYND. And of course, he is doing that because, in my opinion, he wants to make business with BYND. That also means that BYND is selling their food. Doesn't mean if it's good or bad. Yeah? This guy is not buying into BYND to speculate, because to make business. This is not a bank. This is not a hedge fund. This is a business owner. This is the first really good news I see from BYND Meat. The first one. The other one was they are now doing fake meat energy drinks. Okay, who cares? But this is the first business-related news. So, we only waited for a catalyst. This is just a buy-in. Maybe the next news is a partnership with him. And, well, we have still big targets for July and August. So, let's see. And it's just news. You know me. Yeah, we have to go over 84. Yeah, with news or without news. Okay, and one last update to GDC. Okay, no fractal update to GDC. Nothing changed. It's still falling down. Yeah, but There's the news. I always said we have time till next Monday, yeah, June 29th, because they are way too low for too long. So with no change, they would delist. They will get a reverse split on June 29th. 1 to 25, 250. So 250 to 1. A massive reverse split. Yeah. So first of all, I can't say if you should sell or not. Yeah. For me personally, no financial advice. I will hold them. Yeah. I have 2,700 shares for 50 to 70 bucks or something like that. Just because there are cases where a reverse split can cause a squeeze. And a reverse split only tells me this company will survive, at least for the next month, yeah, and not delisted. And then we could still have the time to play this out. But if you have anything under 250 shares, you go to 0, of course. Open we will around $5 after the reverse split. Yeah. So let's see. As I always said, it's a YOLO play. Yeah. And before someone is coming, yeah, the reverse split will force the shorts to close. No. Nobody is shorting this thing. Yeah, not anymore. And even if, who cares? Yeah. There are cases where directly after the reverse split, we have a good move. There are way more cases where after reverse split, the stock is still falling. Yeah, so that's just tinfoil. Yeah, that after reverse split, shorts have to close. It's the same thing after QSIP number change, short have to close. After APE, they have to close. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, I think especially if you're an AMC investor, you should know that all this bullshit maybe is just fake or nobody cares. Okay, one last update into NIO. Also here, NIO looks so fucking bad. I mean, I agree with you. It is lower than I like it. Yeah. Also here, for the big update video, for the whole thing, just watch the roadmap update video. For NIO, I really have to say one thing. We are too low. And not too low yet, but for my previous tracking, this is not looking okay. Yeah, because we are already under the 786. Yeah, so this can't be little a anymore. The only thing this can be is a higher low. The same shit like BYND. Yeah. And then we wouldn't be, for the comparison, for the macro position, we wouldn't be here. We would doing right now this. Makes the most sense. And also makes for me the only sense. Yeah. So in that case, I already marked it. I would see us dropping to 461 because this here is our little A, and then bounce. And violently bouncing. The only thing I really have to say here, if I'm wrong, the confirmation for me being wrong is 438. We are not allowed to break 438. Why? Just because if we break this here becomes M, T, V. And of course, we could now then for Hopium track this whole thing as higher low, but in my opinion, if we break this and do this, this just becomes T. And the macro position for this would be exactly here, September 2019. And this would be then our next moves, down to a new all-time low. Yeah? But, and to say that absolutely clearly, so many things are speaking against this. Yeah. First, okay, we had our V. Same thing like back here. Then, higher low. Also the same thing. Then we went to our peak here. Yeah. But as you see here, there's no head and shoulders here. Yeah. Not like here. This is a perfect head and shoulders. Yeah. Same like what we are tracking right now. Perfect head and shoulders. But this is just looking. Yeah. But back here, from the bottom to the peak, it was a 786 pullback. This was the first sign that this fucking thing will knife. Yeah. But what we did here is a 618. Perfect. Yeah. The same what we did here. From the V to here. Perfect 618. So it looks perfect. I have to put this here as alternative because it's the only thing which kind of makes sense. Yeah. But I still don't think it. The only thing I really have to say, I expected B. Yeah. This B for end of June. Okay. We have 3 days left. If we not suddenly see a 400% move on Monday, Tuesday, which we could, yeah. But if not, no, not June. Yeah. Maybe the June was then the buy-in. End of June. Could be. Yeah. I still have my little options for June. They are dead, yeah, and they most likely will die. But that's why I also said always that the January contracts for NIO still are fucking cheap. Always were fucking cheap, and they are just a better play. Yeah, because I'm still expecting at least this till end of the year, maybe even this till end of the year. Yeah? And no financial advice. That's that move. This move brings us here, and this second move brings us over all-time highs. Still looks good. It doesn't look like shit. It can look like shit if we go under 438 or 436. But right now, as long as we're not breaking levels, it doesn't make sense to be worried. Yeah, because these levels are not for safety. These ones are breaking levels to the upside and downside. Okay. So I think that's everything. And of course, I mean, really, it was a fucking strange day. But also here, no tracking really changed. We had a red Tesla, red Microsoft, massive red Microsoft, but still a green Nasdaq, IWM, and SPY. It was a weird day. Let's see what we get tomorrow. Okay. As always, tutorial video here, playlist here. If you liked it, give me a like. If you want to see more, give me an hour. And let's see what AMC is giving us tomorrow. Yeah.